All right, folks, welcome to another edition of Outspoken. I'm Dan Sileo, and first and foremost, let's give a round of applause to all of our men and women who serve in our great country. There is no question about it. Today, one of the great days that we get to thank the men and women who serve this country on Memorial Day. It's a day of remembrance. It's a day of making sure we understand the sacrifices that these folks give for our great country, and happy Memorial Day to all. So we start there. We move into sports. Major League Baseball. We have the NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, some NFL news, and let's start there, my friends. So the New York Giants are already in chaos. They are in chaos with John Harbaugh's group, new head football coach of the New York Giants. I will say this to you here. Look, I love John Harbaugh. He already has kind of a chaotic mess right now with his starting quarterback. And Jackson Dart was at a Trump rally, and he introduced the President of the United States. And here he is at the rally for the President of the United States.
What's up, what's up, what's up? Yeah. Big Blue Nation, it's a pleasure to be here. I got to start this off with a Go Big Blue. I'd love it if y'all would follow with me. Go Big Blue. Go Big Blue, go Big Blue, go Big Blue. What an honor, what a privilege it is to be here. And without further ado, I'm grateful, I'm honored, I'm pleasured to introduce the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, President Donald J. Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American.
Let's just go here with this. Okay, listen, I don't have a problem with Jackson Dart introducing the President of the United States at a rally. He has every right to have any backing he wants with anybody on the planet. You have a right to religion, you have a right to politics, and you have the right, most importantly, to free speech. Okay? We'll start there. Didn't go over well with Abdul Carter, his teammate. His teammate made a comment here, and I thought this was AI. What are we doing here? Well, both these players here are going to be centerpieces for John Harbaugh. He's hoping for this football team to turn their careers around and to turn this franchise around. So let's start here. Let's go back with Jackson Dart. Hey, son, I don't mind you having your political opinions, but here's what I would say to you. Do something, okay? Before you become a star or think you're a star, have some equity to stand on your positions. You've done nothing but end up in the blue tent for the New York Giants. I mean, dude, I got to tell you flat out here, you haven't done enough to sit there and think that you're a superstar yet. Hey, it's one thing to be a leader. It's one thing to have the understanding that when you're the starting quarterback of the New York Giants, that's a big deal. That's the face of the franchise. And when you're the face of the franchise, collateral damage comes along with it. If you have an opinion, be prepared to have it challenged. And as for Abdul Carter, hey, son, you want to be a leader? Show up to meetings on time. Don't be late to practice. This guy's sitting there trying to tell me that he's got a problem with Jackson Dart going to a Trump rally when he can't even show up to a meeting on time? And he can't show up to practice and he's late? Dude, know your role here. If you want to be a leader of a football team, you got to first put equity in your locker room, especially with both your guys. Me and JD6 are good. We spoke earlier as men. Y'all keep all the narratives. Hey, guys, again, I get if you pick a position with Trump, immediately how this is going to land. I saw Emmanuel Acho come out and say that the New York Giants have to have a conversation with Jackson Dart and understand who he is. Dude, I don't get it. I understand, and I would go down here and say this. Why? If you're Jackson Dart, how does that help you? Make that make sense. I don't have a problem with your political beliefs. I don't have a problem with your religious beliefs or your sexual connotation. I don't care. But dude, when you're the face of a franchise, you have to know there's going to be collateral damage. And that's where Abdul Carter, as I said, bro, show up on time. Okay? Don't be late to meetings. Be a leader on the field first. Both these men have to be leaders on the field. These guys are the starting quarterback of the New York Giants, and the other guy is a first-round draft pick that's going to be counted on a lot to do things for this Giants team this year. You guys better build that equity up on the field before your TV stars. Let's go to this one here with Jerry Jones in the NFL. Isn't this classic? FIFA gets their way in this country all the time. I mean, so at AT&T in Arlington, they're going to put curtains on the glass there so that the glare doesn't get into the faces of the soccer dudes that are going to be at the World Cup. Oh, and by the way, they also picked up the turf and put natural grass down for the soccer guys to make sure that when they land on their fannies, everything is okay. Hey, when it comes to the NFL guys, don't rip that grass up, put that phony-ass carpet down, and pull them blinds down. They don't care about the safety of the players. They never have, and they never will. Don't ever tell me that they care about it. But when the FIFA guys scream, hey, we're not going to come to America unless you put grass and unless you do what we say. FIFA, man, what an organization. The NFL Players Association are a bunch of scrubs. If you let your players go down that lane and you don't protect your players, guys, the soccer guys, really? Hey, let's give them grass. Let's put the curtains on the windows there at AT&T. You got to be kidding me, right? Hey, shows you how big soccer is in the world compared to the National Football League. The NFL Players Association, get off your asses and do something. Now, I've got something here that I love. How about this, baby? The enhanced games. Yes, sir. You could be a massive juicer. Look at this dude over here, man. This guy looks like Hercules. You can take any PED you want on the planet, and they don't drug test you. HGH, testosterone, human growth hormone, anadrol 50s. You can do whatever you want. Look at this Hulk Hogan here. This guy's a swimmer. He's not a power lifter. He's a swimmer. Hey, I would say this to Major League Baseball. Bring back the steroid era. Absolutely. One of the greatest eras in all of Major League Baseball was the steroid era. You know why? We had villains in it. 50 homers, 60 homers, 70 home runs. I loved it. I thought it was one of the more entertaining times in baseball's history. Get this, too. Here's this thing with the enhanced game. The men's 100-meter freestyle world record broken. Look at this thing. This is great. You get to get all juiced up, and you get to compete. And guess what? No matter what, nobody drug tests you. Holy cow. This is one of the greatest events I've ever seen. And the ratings are going to be off the charts. And by the way, it starts today, which is awesome. You got me plugged in. The Juicer Games. At least they're not lying to you. You know, like you see with Major League Baseball and you see with like the Olympic Games, the Juicer Games. Holy cow. I thought I'd never see it. I thought I'd never see it come true that we would have games, that guys were allowed to juice in all events, and we get to see people break incredible records. I'm all for it, man. Like I said, bring back the steroid era in baseball, one of the more entertaining eras in all of Major League Baseball. By the way, you know why they stopped the era of steroids is because they didn't want to pay these guys anymore for hitting 50 bombs like Brady Anderson. All right. The enhanced games. I love it. Hey, my great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in all of America for a reason. It's because they win. Folks, I tell you about those great stories that they have in Pennsylvania and in Florida. Do me a favor. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you. We are going to talk some Major League Baseball, and we're going to look at the pennant races next right here on SportsGrid.
Hey there, it's your buddy Craig Carton. If you're trying to find out how to get all the great content that me and Tyrone Johnson give you every single day, here's Tyrone to tell you how.
You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and of course, Amazon Music as well. We're at all 4.
That's right. It's the Craig Carton Show podcast every weekday morning live at 11, replayed at noon on YouTube and on SportsGrid throughout the country. Check it out.
They're trading right now currently at 74 wins on the season, which means the Kalshi marketplace goes by 5-win intervals. 75-plus wins for those Houston Astros. That's a 49% contract to the yes, which a $100 investment pays back $205, Greg. I'm not high on this team. Look, again, 75 wins for the Astros is terrible, but this team might not even look the same as where we stand today by the time we get to that deadline.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You can recruit super young talent that may go in the NBA. You can recruit older guys and have them grow up together. But if you want players to stay, either sign them to contracts or treat them well enough where they're going to stay. To me, it's pretty simple. And, you know, a lot of coaches last year had good years and they left skid marks on their schools and nobody said a word.
Outspoken with Dan Sileo, only on SportsGrid.
Go over the summer where there's drastic changes and gas drops down to $3 a gallon, $2.50 a gallon in some states, and then you have some of the price markets go down. You ride that momentum is what Joe's talking about. So if you say right now, which party will win the U.S. House, and you think it's the Republicans currently trading at 20%, you take them now, and if good press comes, that turns into 25% and 30%, then you have the option to cash out.
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to talk to Major League Baseball with our friend George Kurtz here. And really the story in Major League Baseball right now has to be the Tampa Bay Rays. They're right now 5.5 up as we talk in here with, the American League East. George, tell me right now, I mean, how are they doing it here, man? Their pitching has been exceptional. Their hitting has been exceptional. And it's not just been Junior Caminero. It's been other guys that have been able to do it. And really, it comes with their starting pitching. They're number 1 or number 2 in saves right now as well. I mean, it's been really impressive.
Thing is, when you think about their starting pitching, Dan, you're talking Drew Rasmussen, nice pitcher, right?
Yeah.
Okay, McClanahan was expected to be an ace at some point, but he missed all of last year, various injuries here, but a good, solid pitcher. Steven Matz, that's a reclamation project, right, from St. Louis to Mets and such here. Nick Martinez, listen, anybody could have had him. Anybody. No, he was a late free agent addition to Tampa Bay. We know anybody Tampa Bay signs, no one else wants to sign him, right? They're not spending money on these guys. Griffin Jack's more of a reliever there. I think, listen, for me, listen, you and I have been around since what? We're forever. Tampa Bay plays baseball, right? They're moving runners over. They're putting pressure on defenses. They're going to run. They're going to test their outfielders' arms. They're going to test everything here. They play baseball. Where a lot of these other teams, including the Yankees, the team I root for, they're the old Earl Weaver. We're waiting for the 3-run homer. Over and over, wait for the 3-run homer. When's it coming here? So I think the Rays play old school baseball, and I think it just catches teams off guard. Now I'll be the first person to admit it's only May, late May at that. I don't know if this can last all year. What are they going to do when their injuries hit and every team goes through it? Will they have the depth of like the Yankees have, over the Dodgers have, where they can overcome some injuries here? So we'll see how that tests them over a long season. But right now, they look fantastic.
I'll even go here a little bit more on them. Eric Neander, their general manager, this goes back a long way on how they've really become the Moneyball team. I mean, you go back to those A's guys how they build these baseball teams. I mean, George, they got an $87 million payroll. They're in the American League East. Okay, I mean, Juan Soto makes $70 million a year. I mean, they almost make as much payroll-wise as he makes annually. It's really remarkable how they can contend and compete. Since 2014, they're the 4th winningest team in Major League Baseball. This goes back to Kevin Cash, right? What a great manager.
Absolutely, because you have to get rid of all the egos. You can't have egos on this team because you're going to be asked to run around second, nobody out. You got to hit a ground ball to the right side. Got to do it, right? You got to get that runner over because they're playing for one run at a time here because they know they're not going to give up a lot. All right, they know that. So I think Cash does a great job. I think the players also do a great job of buying into the system. And I think the GM's done a fantastic job of getting the right players. Because if you have ego players here, guys who want, hit the 3-run home run, be on SportsCenter, that's not going to work in Tampa Bay. It's just not, because that's not how the team is built. So you get the players to buy in, the right manager, and Cash. Personally, as a Yankee fan, I can't stand Cash, but he's a great manager. All right, but Cash knows how to manage these guys correctly. He pushes the right buttons a lot more often than the wrong ones, right? A lot more often. You see it in the Yankee series. Maybe not so much on the game Friday night, but he tests. In that game, on that series in Tampa Bay, he tested the Yankees. He was bunting all over the place. Let's see if these fielders can make the plays. And you know what? The Yankees couldn't make the plays. All right? Like I said, he's going to find out if you can play baseball. If you can't, you're not going to do all that well against the Rays.
Absolutely. And if I were the Mets, I'd back the Brinks truck up and go get Kevin Cash and bring his butt up to Queens there if I were them. Absolutely. Speaking of the Yankees, they've wobbled a little bit, right? I mean, pitching, they've got some injuries in there a little bit. Where are they right now as we're getting into Memorial Day?
We sort of see this with the Yankees every year. They go through a 2-3 week stretch where it looks like, oh my God, they've never been on a baseball diamond before. Right? They can't hit people on base. We know the Yankees, they're not going to do little things, right? They haven't forever. Right? They're not built that way. Brian Cashman doesn't want them built that way. The Yankees are sort of the analytics team in that, it's really hard to hit 3 singles in a row. And I understand that. Everybody throws 110 miles an hour. It is hard to hit 3 singles in a row. So we're going to do the launch angle, we're going to do the exit velocity, and everyone's swinging for the fences here. And, when it's working, fine. The Yankees are going to win some games. When it's not working, right now it's not. They're going to struggle here. They don't look like a good team right now. They're striking out an awful lot. Aaron Judge does not have an RBI for 11 games. That's not good, Dan. The longest stretch of his career, if he's not hitting, they're going to struggle here. And I went through this last week. Anybody who follows me on Twitter knows I love to complain when I'm watching the Yankee games. It's one of my favorite pastimes. But I look at the batting averages, 185, 167, 140. It was like, oh, my God. That starting lineup, the 9 against the Mets, he had 5 guys batting 220 or less and 4 batting 180 or less. It was just gross. Just completely ugly. It is today's game here. A lot of Yankee batters are struggling. The Yankee fan, you can complain about Aaron Boone from now until next Tuesday. It doesn't matter. Cashman wants a full guy, and he's got it in Boone. That's where he can do what he wants here. The Yankees will be fine in the end. They'll make the playoffs. The American League is pretty weak. I mean, there's always a chance. Do I think they're the best team? I still kind of lean towards Seattle. I think Tampa Bay will falter, by the way. I think they're going to have some issues eventually here. I still kind of lean towards Seattle, but the Yankees will be right there. That starting pitching staff is deep, and it's good. That should carry them a long way.
Okay, I just looked it up. I just opened up the dictionary. George Kurtz's face is the definition of a Yankee fan right there, because that's exactly how Yankee fans root right there. As soon as they win a World Series, hey, what are we doing next year? All right. So what are you to make of the Chicago Cubs here? Big winning streak, big losing streak. I mean, why such a seesaw season going on so far?
Chicago Cubs have had 2 10-game winning streaks, and now what have they lost 7, 8 in a row now, whatever it might be, and they're in 3rd place. They're in 3rd place of a division. I mean, that's amazing to me. St. Louis, by the way, is a story that no one saw coming. They're going to play this well. I think for the Cubs, the offense has gone cold now, right? We've seen that. Bregman's not hitting. Suzuki's not hitting. Even Horner's slowed down somewhat here. They have a good lineup. I mean, you have PCA in there, Crow Armstrong. Ian Happ's having a great power season. He's only batting about 210, but he's on pace for 35 home runs. They have the hitters right now. They've all gone cold, sort of like the Yankees. It's almost very similar here, except that the Yankees are pitching well. The Cubs are not. A lot of injuries to that pitching. Matthew Boyd's out. Horton's out. Cabrera really hasn't been himself yet this year. I think the Cubs are going to be prime team to go after Tariq Skubal, who will have to be traded by the Detroit Tigers.
Hey, 30 seconds. What's up with the Tigers?
Too many injuries, and I don't think they were all that good a team to begin with. But this is what you want, by the way. You either want to be good or you want to crater. You don't want to be in the middle here, and they're cratered. Easy decision for them. Now you got to trade Skubal, get a truckload for him by the deadline.
Absolutely, man. I mean, Major League Baseball. Here we are on, Memorial Day, and this is one of those. This is one of those litmus tests there where you are as a baseball team. And really, the Cubs, I'm still trying to figure them out, like you said, George. I mean, you on these win streaks, and all of a sudden you're on a 7-game losing streak. More with George Kurtz. We're going to talk some more Major League Baseball. We'll do that next. Keep it right here on SportsGrid.
Hey there, it's your buddy Craig Carton. If you're trying to find out how to get all the great content that me and Tyrone Johnson give you every single day, here's Tyrone to tell you how.
You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and of course, Amazon Music as well. We're at all four.
That's right. It's the Craig Carton Show podcast every weekday morning live at 11, replayed at noon on YouTube and on SportsGrid throughout the country. Check it out.
They're trading right now currently at 74 wins on the season, which means the Kalshi marketplace goes by 5-win intervals. 75 plus wins for those Houston Astros. That's a 49% contract to the yes, which a $100 investment pays back $205, Greg. I'm not high on this team. Look, again, 75 wins for the Astros is terrible, but this team might not even look the same as where we stand today by the time we get to that deadline.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You can recruit super young talent that may go in the NBA. You can recruit older guys and have them grow up together. But if you want players to stay, either sign them to contracts or treat them well enough where they're going to stay. To me, it's pretty simple. And, you know, a lot of coaches last year had good years and they left skid marks on their schools and nobody said a word.
Outspoken with Dan Sileo, only on SportsGrid.
Go over the summer where there's drastic changes and gas drops down to $3 a gallon, $2.50 a gallon in some states, and then you have some of the price markets go down. You ride that momentum is what Joe's talking about. So if you say right now, which party will win the U.S. House, and you think it's the Republicans currently trading at 20%, you take them now, and if good press comes, that turns into 25% and 30%, then you have the option to cash out.
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
And more baseball talk here with George Kurtz here. And I'm going to ask you some questions here, George. All right. Best pitcher in baseball right now. Who is he?
Mizorowski? The guy's throwing 104 miles an hour. No one can hit him. Ohtani? You know, I think you and I talked a couple of weeks ago. I think Ohtani wants that Cy Young. I won for the MVP for hitting, and now I'm going to win it for Cy Young for pitching, man. I am that good. What do you want? You know, that sort of thing. I think if you're asking me, one game, Game 7, I think I want Mizorowski right now. So right now, I'm going to say Mizorowski, but I might change my mind in a month. You know, could easily, because I don't know if he can do it over a full season, Dan. Can you keep throwing 104 miles an hour into October? I don't know if you can do that. I don't know, but right now, I think about one game. You tell me right now, betting my life on a game, it's Jacob Mizorowski of the Milwaukee Brewers.
You mentioned Ohtani. What do you think Dave Roberts and Andrew Friedman, the general manager of the Dodgers, are thinking right now? Do you think they still want him to be a two-way player, or do you think they miss his bat in that lineup? I know you just mentioned it, 0.73 ERA. The guy goes out there and throws 102 BBs out there on the hill. I mean, but do you think they're there yet? Because, again, I mean, he's not having that great a year so far at the dish. Do they need him more in the lineup, or do they need him more on the hill?
You know, I was discussing, I believe, with Gabe Morency the other day. We're talking about MVPs. Ohtani's still the easy MVP, all right? Because you look at his numbers, right? You already mentioned his pitching numbers. They're great, right? He's fantastic, great pitcher here. All right, his offensive numbers, he's not going to hit 50 home runs, but he's probably still going to end up with high 30s. You know, he's still going to bat, decent batting average. He's batting 270, 8 right now. So that'll be fine. He's going to have 90 ribbies. All right, it's not MVP, but you're talking with his pitching. And those numbers, by the way, you're going to bat 270 at 35 homers, driving 90 runs, score, 90, 100 runs. Those are great numbers. They're just not Ohtani numbers. All right, but it's fantastic. I think the Dodgers are going to let him do both for now. Could this change at some point as he gets older? Sure, it could. I think what we've seen the last couple of starts here, I know his last start he did bat, but before that he didn't. He took a couple of starts where he didn't play, didn't bat. I can see that. He doesn't play, he doesn't bat 6-7 times a week. They do give him more rest here, which I think is smart for several reasons. One, he's pitching. Two, getting older. And three, you're not playing for the regular season, Dodgers. All right, you're playing for the playoffs. That's what you care about. We know you're playing in October, so you want to make sure he's 100% ready to go in October. So yeah, he's not having the batting numbers that we're accustomed to, but they're still pretty damn good numbers here. So I'm not worried about Ohtani's batting at all. I don't think the Dodgers are either, but I think they will rest him more than we've been accustomed to.
I happen to agree with you. I think that Ohtani's the best player in baseball. However, who's having the best statistical start to the season, in your opinion, which would make him in a conversation of maybe the best player? Look what Schwarber's doing down in Philly. I mean, Schwarber's on pace for potentially 60-plus home runs. I know the batting average, the guy barely hits his body weight, so you got to take that into consideration. But if you were to pick a guy right now, heading into Memorial Day, what would be that one player that you went, wow, this guy's having a marvelous start to the season?
I mean, I think there are several players we could put up here. It was Jordan Alvarez for April, right? He became Alvarez again, but he's cooled down now the last couple of weeks, right? He's not quite there. James Wood of in Washington Nationals, he sort of announced himself that, hey, yeah, I'm a really good player. Aaron Judge was hot for a while. He's cooled off as well. So is Schwarber, by the way. I don't know if I can put Schwarber as the best baseball player because his defense really isn't there, right? He's not very good on defense. He's a home run guy. He's sort of like Rob Deere, a better Rob Deere. He's home run or nothing here. Bobby Witt has to be in this conversation for the player he is. De La Cruz, Cincinnati. Is there a more fun player to watch than De La Cruz? I mean, he hits a ball in the gap. Hey, it's fun watching this man run. All right, he's getting a triple there. So I think there are several guys that we like here as far as, this is the best player in baseball right now. I think it will change. Right now, if I think I'm going to pick one player, I think I'm going to have to go with De La Cruz because he can do everything. Right? He's a good defensive player too. Gives you steals bases. I think De La Cruz is I think he's certainly the most fun player to watch. By the way, it might have been Drake Baldwin until he got hurt. Right, the catcher for Atlanta. Man, was he playing well. Sort of came out of nowhere. No one saw this coming last year when he came up here, but he's been that good as well. But the oblique injury, he's going to miss some time here, probably another month. Probably takes him out of this equation.
All right, George, I'll ask you again the same question I asked you last week. Can the Mets season be saved?
Define saved. They're losing again. They look so good against the Yankees. Detroit's a waste of time, right? They're done, but they looked good against the Yankees. Big comeback on Sunday. You think, here we go, Mets, Metropolitans, and then you lose 4 out of 5 to what? And I'm not putting down the Nationals and the Marlins here, but you lose 4 out of 5 here. You can't hit again. You got 5 hits in the last 3 games, something silly like that. No, because I think by the deadline they're trading. Peralta's gone, right? He's a free agent at the end of the year. They have to trade him.
Absolutely. George, have a great Memorial Day, man. Appreciate you very much. The legendary Rohan Marley next here on.
Hey there, it's your buddy Craig Carton. If you're trying to find out how to get all the great content that me and Tyrone Johnson give you every single day, here's Tyrone to tell you how.
You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and of course, Amazon Music as well. We're at all 4.
That's right. It's the Craig Carton Show podcast every weekday morning live at 11, replayed at noon on YouTube and on SportsGrid throughout the country. Check it out.
They're trading right now currently at 74 wins on the season, which means the Kalshi marketplace goes by 5-win intervals. 75-plus wins for those Houston Astros. That's a 49% contract to the yes, which a $100 investment pays back $205, Greg. I'm not high on this team. Look, again, 75 wins for the Astros is terrible, but this team might not even look the same as where we stand today by the time we get to that deadline.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You can recruit super young talent that may go in the NBA. You can recruit older guys and have them grow up together. But if you want players to stay, either sign them to contracts or treat them well enough where they're going to stay. To me, it's pretty simple. And, a lot of coaches last year had good years and they left skid marks on their schools and nobody said a word.
Outspoken with Dan Sileo, only on SportsGrid.
go over the summer where there's drastic changes and gas drops down to $3 a gallon, $2.50 a gallon in some states, and then you have some of the price markets go down. You ride that momentum is what Joe's talking about. So if you say right now, which party will win the U.S. House, and you think it's the Republicans currently trading at 20%, you take them now, and if good press comes, that turns into 25% and 30%, then you have the option to cash out.
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
Well, I got to tell you, this is always a privilege when I get a chance to talk to this man here. I call him the Lion because he is a lion, and he is Rohan Marley. Absolutely, we appreciate you doing this, Rohan. You're so busy, and you're such an entrepreneur now. I mean, life after football for you and life after, you came out of college at the University of Miami. And I saw you at the assembly there in Buffalo, too, by the way. You're starting a cannabis company up there in Buffalo. Talk about that.
Albany.
Albany.
Yeah,
Talk about
yes.
Talk about how they honored you guys up there in upstate New York.
Well, give me a second there, Dan. I'm just clean off my camera. 1 second. Sorry.
Okay.
All right. All
There
right.
we go.
Crisply clean now. All right. Well, that was about us being one of the first minority license holder in the state of New York, which was we're a vertical. So normally it's the big guys, the big European descendants that have all the license, the MSOs, the big money guys. So we were able to be the first minority group to have a majority stakeholder share in a vertical license in the state of New York. So we're happy about that. So we went up there to show, to support the legislature because they're working with us in terms of the laws and how to really decriminalize, not only decriminalize, but to keep some of us out of the jails, like these are kind of people, right? The people that have been persecuted for cannabis for such a long time. So it's nice that we get to be a representative of that, especially being Rastafari and how much persecution we have been through just for a little bit of medicine, So we're happy to be the forefront of the movement. So that's what that was about.
How about this, Rohan? Do you believe that the National Football League should be more involved with cannabis when it comes to pain management instead of oxycodones, Vicodins, and all the other pills that they give to the players?
I mean, you could answer that question yourself. Listen to the names. Some of those names that you're calling, they're all these different names, like all these different compounds that you don't know what they do to you long term. Look, there's nothing wrong with pharmaceuticals, right? In terms of the medicinal platform on all different genres, but we definitely should have the option to choose a more natural way or more what do you call it? Home. If it shouldn't be against the law to do homeopathic style treatment, my own style of homeopathic, and what I consider to be helpful for me, that shouldn't be against the law, being that it's not enhancing, it's not steroids, it's not giving me any, making me faster, making me stronger. It's not giving me those benefits in regards to the game. So yeah, from a medicinal standpoint, it should definitely be an option for players.
Rohan, the name Marley, it could be a great advantage, and sometimes I wonder if it's ever a burden because of how you have to carry yourself at all times. When you carry, to me, it's a tremendous honor to know you and to know your family's background. How do you look at that, and how do you go forward in your life protecting that name? Because you're such an entrepreneur now. You've take me down this avenue and take me down this journey of yours.
Well, for us, it's easy because we're Rastafari people, and we've been Rastafari since creation, since birth. And Rastafari is just aligning ourselves to God ways, right? Doing things a godly way, doing things with morality, and being more than we can be just for ourselves. And now, what you're getting used to seeing now is really, when you met me, I was absolutely a lion from birth. But what you're seeing is more of an upright lion, a one that understands that, we have to own our decisions, we have to own our way, and we have to be real leaders. And leaders are what we live by our practice, and we live by what we say. So it's just been I would say evolution to reach this point in life where you own yourself, right? So that's just Rastafari. So it's really Rastafari as being God of self and really doing things a godly way and thinking on the Almighty Creator first before all decisions are made. Rastafari.
Hey, Rohan,
So that's
your dad was a major.
Rastafari.
Rastafari.
Yeah, you see
There
it
you
from
go.
birth.
There you
Don't
go.
it, son?
My name is Aiden.
Aiden, Rastafari, my son.
Aiden.
Yes,
Aiden.
Rasta.
Very good.
Come here, come here.
Got
You
another
calling
one.
me? Dan,
Okay,
Aiden,
come on.
come here, Aiden.
Absolutely.
Aiden,
Absolutely.
Aiden, come say what's up to Dan. This is my
No, wait,
brother
no.
from school.
Huh?
Now wait.
Say what's up. Say what's
Aiden.
up.
Aiden, are you going to be a football player? You're going to be a soccer player?
Yeah, I'm gonna be a soccer player. Like I'm gonna kick like this.
Yeah, he's strong. He's real strong. I want him to. He got a good arm, but he's an athlete, but he's strong. He can do a lot of things.
Your dad was a sportsman. How
Sure.
much of that have you taken from when you were younger, and how have you applied that to your family now?
Well, we see sports as life, and sports is like a part of our daily life because fitness is life, right? And yeah, a little bit. Fitness is life, and when you see my father training and running and playing football so much, it's because football also helps him to sing, right? It helps to build up the endurance. Because music is that. Music is about endurance and yes, Jack. Thank you. Music is about endurance. Music is about it's physical, because the amount of different shows and concerts and the traveling. So you gotta be also physically fit. So fitness is also just a way of life, and that and then again being the lion. You want to be super fit. You want to be the fittest of the fittest. so that translates into football in terms
What do you make
of
of our
the power.
Hurricanes? What do you make of our Hurricanes? What do you make of our Hurricanes?
What I make of them, they're fantastic. I mean,
Rastafari.
they're fantastic, and the coach is even more fantastic because he knows what he's doing. He's a Hurricane himself. He understands that in the city of Miami, it's a winning city. I mean, we're the only team to ever win 58 games straight at home. So obviously, the city of Miami, the state of Florida, only knows the University of Miami for winning. So once we're winning, it's all great because that's what we're known for winning. So Coach Cristobal is a winning coach. Coach Cristobal knows what it takes to win. To win, you need great players. You need greatness. You need people that want to win, like from within themselves, not just not just passing through. We need people that are committed to the program and understand that you do good here, you can do good anywhere, right? So, but first, you got to perform on the field here, because it's the highest standard of football in the country, in anywhere you go. There's not a better university when it comes down to football than the University of Miami. I don't care where you go.
I'll tell you what, Rohan, what I love about us, you and me will always be connected because you and me were part of the 58-game home winning streak. My team started it. You were part of it. I mean, that's what connects us.
I won 25 out of the 58.
We get this. We lost the first game in 1985. Then we went on to win in 86. Then we went on to win in 87. I think we won 20 something like that too. I mean, it will always connect us, and that's one of the greatest things of all time.
You won, because let me see. My year, look. First of all, I got 2 losses in my entire career in the regular season, so I'm probably like 2. I think 2 or 3 in 4 years. In 4 years, we have 3 losses. So I mean, and 1. Yeah.
That's great. Hey, Rohan, we're going to continue. I want to get your take on college sports next. I mean, this just shows you the kind of winning that we had here. Rohan Marley, I want to get more into his businesses too. By the way, he's got a great beach resort that folks can go to and take a look at. We're going to do this next. More with Rohan Marley. Keep it right here. SportsGrid.
you wouldn't have your ex officiate your wedding.
Do you, Jake? Liar? Cheater? Gaslighter?
So why have anyone but America's largest injury law firm handle your injury case? With over $30 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Gaslighter, coitus crier, he's got more red flags than a bullfighter's attire.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
All right, more with the legendary Rohan Marley here with us here on SportsGrid. We appreciate him taking his time with us here. Hey, did you like the biopic, One Love? I mean, did you think it chronicled everything that you wanted it to chronicle? Because you were really involved in that.
Absolutely, because when you think of our father, right, what would give us the right to speak on things that he didn't speak on? Like, who are we? Like, all we can do is recreate the work that he already done, and part of that work was an experience that took place during an assassination attempt, and within telling that story from the journey from Kingston to getting to London and telling that story, yeah, we had some little back scenes just to give you a little bit of context of how we got there. But yeah, we did an excellent job. The movie, I think there is one curse word, which was like a Jamaican curse word in the movie, which nobody understood what was said anyway. And there's one scene where there was like a peck of a kiss, and there's a one punch and a slap. So in our eyes, absolutely, because my father always said whatever he's doing, he wants me to make sure that he's made it so simple that a child could understand it. So this movie is for a generation. It's for children. It's for grown-ups. It's for everyone to get an insight of the infinite timeline that exists, and how my father was able to tap into that and build music with a purpose, not just for fame and likeness, but for a purpose. And we showed that in the movie why, how, and when, and what it means to really represent a movement, which is Rastafari, which is a God movement. So we did that in that movie. You know what, Rohan, did you learn anything about yourself going back and retracing the tracks and the footsteps of your dad? Did you learn anything from that? You know what I learned about myself just recently? I learned about myself going to Burkina Faso. So I just went to Burkina Faso, and what I learned about myself, that I could be sitting here in the West, listening to the media, listening to all these different things of people building fear into you, of you going to places that you want to visit, just as a human being, just as part of creation, that you can sit here and listen to the media, listen to all these different things and never move. You'll be stuck in your own fear, right? What I've learned about myself is I should do what I ever always want to do at all times. At this age, no one should be able to tell me where I can go, where I cannot go. I learned that being a man is owning yourself and owning your word and be who you're meant to be in this life. And who I'm meant to be is who I think I am. And that's who I am. That's
Marley
what I learned.
Coffee, the Rohan Marley Beach House, all the businesses that you have. Is there one
Yes,
thing?
sir.
Is there one thing that you have done in your life that has been one signature motivation for you? One thing that drives you? What drives you when you get up every morning, Rohan?
You know what, there was a turning point in my life that really set me straight. I remember Miss Lauren Hill saying to me, because when I left college, I had a concept that I wanted to be an NFL player because I thought I could play better than anybody else. I think I'm that good when I was
By the
playing
way,
the game. Of
you
course,
were sensational. By the way, you were
me,
sensational. By the
meaning,
way,
yeah. So I didn't feel like no one's better than me, so I can play anywhere. So I felt that didn't get the opportunity to do that. Of course, playing the CFL, did that for a little bit. Didn't like it too much because I was away from my life. I didn't want to be doing. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be doing what I love to do, which is praise the Almighty God. So, but I think the one thing that gave me a great little like motivation in life is when Miss Lauren Hill asked me one day, she says, "What do you do?" And when she asked me what I do, I was like, whoa, because at the time I was just trying to figure out what to do. But realizing that you realizing the direction is the most important thing. So when she ignited that in me, what do you do? That question, what do you do? Me, in a good way, I said, wow, that's right. What do I do? I want to be a football player. I want to play soccer, but I'm getting older. So what am I gonna do? When I learned of the farm in Jamaica, that gave me the idea of a concept of how to tell this Rastafari liberty and principle through my doings. And that doings was taking the land and starting this entrepreneurial life, which I call the Rastapreneur life, because the things that we do as business the business has to be like us. We're not like the business. So that was a perfect opportunity to find some sort of business that relates to who we are. And that's farming, right? And farming led me to understanding what organic means, which is Rastafari, because I tell people. ITEL means word organic, as well as sustainability. I understand sustainability because I didn't want to create something that was going to bring chemicals into a community to destroy the community, because that's what I thought about first. So you asked me about burden. I thought about giving myself burdens. That was a burden I didn't want by just trying to say I'm in business, by deteriorating people's life, by saying that I want faster yieldings, I want more for the crop. I rather let the land just be land than ever putting chemicals on my land where someone can tell me it's because of my chemicals that I put on the land to earn a living, destroy their life. I don't want that. I rather not do that. I rather just have the land and say I have the land, and whatever grows on the land grows on the land, and let it be. But it wouldn't be something that I'd use to deteriorate people. So if the turning point in my life would be when Miss Lauren Hill asked me, what do I do? And I said to myself, you know what, Bob's son, you have all this insight in you. You've been learned so much. You've been taught so much about Rastafari, and you know what that is. How do you share your wisdom to life? What is it that you're going to give to society? How you become a giver? How you become useful in this planet than just being a man that just exists and walk around and talk about people. I didn't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that was doing and creating and helping my brothers, because what I saw is my brothers doing the same thing my father was doing. And I got you. And so what I thought about was that, if I can help my brothers do what they're doing, which is when they work, they take their money and they help people. If I can put into that pot, I'm doing something, because I want to follow my dad's footsteps, which is one of my brother's footsteps, which is the Marley family footstep, in that the things that we do, we think about helping people first. And so that's my inspiration.
Absolutely, Rohan. It is always a great privilege to get you on here. And by the way, I heard Lauren Hill the other day talking just great about you and your relationship that you still have today with each other. So that's pretty dope.
Of course.
Rohan, thank you so much. I love you very much. Go
Rastafari.
Canes. Absolutely love you very much. Folks, we're going to talk about the Teddy Bridgewater Act next. Thank you so much, Rohan. Keep it right here on Sports Grid. You know, sometimes the stuff that makes the most sense makes no sense. So in Florida, we now have a brand new act. You know what it's called? The Teddy Bridgewater Act. Let me give you some context here with Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater, former NFL quarterback, he's still floating around being a backup quarterback in the NFL. Last year, he was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Well, he was a head football coach at Miami Northwestern, one of the absolute greatest high school football programs in the state of Florida, okay? And he was a head football coach. He started taking his American Express card out and paying for some of the players on the team that couldn't get to the games, that didn't have food, that didn't have travel food, that didn't have travel money, that couldn't stay in hotels because they just didn't come from the economic means for them to be able to do it. So you know what Bridgewater did? He pulled his card out and he paid for it. He got suspended for that for a year for helping kids feed them, clothe them, house them, do all the things that you would hope that a coach would do for you. So now they've made it an act, and now they've passed a law in the state of Florida that they give them the ability to be able to spend up to $15,000. Governor Ron DeSantis has signed the Senate Bill 178, the Teddy Bridgewater Act, and have now made it into law, allowing middle and high school coaches to use up to $15,000 of their own money for student athletes with food, transportation, and recovery services, sending them back home and giving them a ride back home like an Uber. Sometimes when we look at coaches, these are the kind of things that you remember. My wife's a rugby coach. Tons of money come out of her pocket for being able to feed her players, house their players, to travel with their players. And most coaches around the country that are high school coaches, they don't get the pats on the back. They don't get the ability to be able to say, hey, let me give a kid $15, $20 so he can have a hamburger while we're on the road. You know what this law does now? That means you can put this on your income taxes and write it off on your taxes. This is one of the coolest things that I've seen Ron DeSantis do in the state of Florida when it comes to sports. The Teddy Bridgewater Act. This is fantastic. Bridgewater, again, he was a famous high school coach at Miami Northwestern. By the way, ended up winning a state championship there. And he still to this day supports those kids. My God almighty, how do you not want a guy like that as your football coach? You would suspend him for doing the right thing? Housing and feeding kids? How did that ever not be the right thing to do? These are the kind of guys that you remember for the rest of your life. My high school coach, Joe Anslone, from Stanford Catholic High School, I remember him because he would do the same thing. Things would come out of his pocket. He would feed us. Those are some of the people that had lasting memories for me and what really gave me the love of the game. Teddy Bridgewater is a guy that's creating the love of the game, helping kids try to reach their goals. How in God's name do we look at those kind of guys? And a year ago, he was suspended for doing the right thing, helping kids try to reach a goal, helping kids try to get to college, helping kids understand that, hey, everyone needs a helping hand. You know, some of the great players and some of the fortunate players that get to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame or go to any Hall of Fame, listening to their speeches, and they're standing up there talking about high school coaches traveling from city to city on their own dime, or putting kids in positions to give them great success. These are the real heroes. These are the real people that set the foundation for athletes that want to go on and reach their dream. These are the people that when you're younger, that really start that whole urge to want to be great. Teddy Bridgewater doesn't have to do this. He's a well-off guy, made millions and millions of dollars as an NFL quarterback, and he's wanting to give back. And it's what I say is one of the great stories here, because now you get an opportunity for other coaches to be able to do the same thing and get a little bit of a tax break here when it comes to filling out their income taxes at the end of the year. I love it. A little bit past its time, and it should have been done years ago and maybe even decades ago. But that's one of the good stories in all of sports. It's the Teddy Bridgewater Act now being passed into law in the state of Florida, giving coaches the ability to be able to come out of their pocket and to help kids reach their dreams. Man, how are we even talking about something like that when people are doing the right thing to help kids end up going in there and giving an opportunity? All right. Hey, we are going to talk, and we're going to catch up with Bill Goldberg. We had a chance to catch up with him a couple days ago. He's next, right here on SportsGrid. You know, you talk about Mount Rushmore of professional wrestlers. Make no mistake about it. I will promise you, there is no better character in history than this man here. Bill Goldberg joins us now here on SportsGrid. How you doing? No, what the hell?
Back in Texas, I can tell you that. I am back in Texas.
Bill, is that what you're doing in retirement? Hang on, July 12th, I believe, 2025. You called it a career. And how's it going? Are you itching to get back into the ring, or how's your retirement going?
Man, when you're in the wrestling business, I don't think there's anything. There is no retirement until you're dead. So, am I itching to get back in? No. Am I itching to continue to, be out in the world and make a difference? Absolutely. So I've kind of turned my focus to veterans, kids, and the emasculation of modern man. So I got a couple things on my plate right now, for sure.
Absolutely. By the way, now wait, you got a couple things on the plate. I want to get this right. You were in Memphis for the World Championship Barbecue Cooking Contest. So this is where, wait, you go, wait a minute, from being on the top rope to doing a barbecue contest in Memphis. How's that transition been?
Well, I am with a company called Patriot Tactical, and they are the lead sponsor of these events. The first one I attended was in Houston, and let's be perfectly honest, man, anybody who likes food likes wrestling. So, it's kind of a family atmosphere, these cookouts, and I have a stake in Patriot Tactical. I'm the CEO, I'm the president, and, it truly gives me, not only is it business oriented, but it truly gives me the opportunity to shake the hands of the people who put me in the position that I'm at, because you can't get a more wholesome event than than a barbecue contest, right?
Talk about being with the veterans, how much that means to you too, Bill. I mean, obviously professional football, professional wrestling, the military, that's something that we have great respect for. I know that I have massive respect for the military. How's that been for you so far? Getting a chance to see those guys too and shake hands and touch palms with those dudes.
Well, you and I, yes, we have respect. But unfortunately, these days, first responders are not at the top of the list of receiving respect from the public. And that shit needs to change, period. End of story. Because you couldn't do your podcast, you couldn't play football, I couldn't throw dudes around the ring, and I sure as hell couldn't do anything else if these people who don't know who we are put their lives on the line every single day so that we can live, a normal life. So to me, there is no better time spent than thanking the people who protect your freedom, especially with, 250 coming up. It's a very, very tense time we have, whether it's, dealing with the war, whether it's dealing on the home front. And, it's a sorry state that we're in, man, I think. So I'm going to try to do something about it.
Bill, 250, United States, 250. Are you going to do anything? Are you going to have anything planned? Are we going to see anything from Triple H? Are we going to maybe see something special? Because I see that smirk right now. I don't know. There could be something being worked out here right now for 250 coming up at Bill Goldberg, no?
I'm not leading into that one. I'm not going to be at the UFC, fighting at the White House. I'm not doing anything for WWE by any stretch of the imagination. But what I am doing is I'm holding a private cookout here at Goldberg's Garage for 40 of the first responders who were first on scene at the Mystic floods last year here in Texas. And unfortunately, we have 200 acres here, but I'd love to invite all of them, but we're going to have to do it in shifts. So every 6 months, I'm going to do a cookout sponsored by a number of large corporations, but it's a private deal here at the garage. The sheriff's coming, the chief of police is coming, local dignitaries are coming, and we're not publicizing the hell out of it. This is the first time that I've made mention of it to the public, but it's just a way of saying thank you. And we're not looking for content. We're not looking for anything else. We're looking for a reaction on a first responder's face when they look in my eyes and they look in other people's eyes who have no ulterior motive just to say thank you.
You know, you mentioned something about WWE just now, and I may I say something, and you can disagree with me on this. Bill, I think that ending on how they sent you out, I'm sorry, dude. I watched it, and I was actually disgusted by it. I didn't think they cut away from it, and they didn't let you get a chance. I mean, that's not a guy that's 173-0 to be able to send him out like that and had an impact. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, Bill. Maybe you thought it was great. I thought it was disrespectful to you.
Yeah, I haven't mentioned a lot of it, but yeah, no question. It was extremely disrespectful. It was something that I kind of knew was going to happen, but I was hoping it wouldn't. And, the reality is they control the television, and you can segment, you can strategically place extra time at the end before you have to go off the air and move into the next program, right? So yeah, I was pretty pissed off. I'll take it to my grave, but I'm not going to bitch and moan. It is what it is, and it's WWE disrespecting a WCW wrestler that was kicking their ass in the Monday Night Wars, and that's the last time that they think that they can throw shade on me. So, but the fact is that the fans know the deal, and the fans are the only ones I care about. And they can go ahead and do their little soap opera BS all they want, and I just live my life, man. I segue to the next thing, and I don't dwell on past negativity for the most part. And it's very disappointing. It was disappointing for my family. It was disappointing for my fans. It was disappointing for me. But it is what it is.
Bill, do you really think that? I actually do know this question. I mean, I look at it. WCW guys were always disrespected by Vince and Triple H now, I would imagine, because of what you guys were doing with those wars. Ted Turner just passed away. I know you worked with him. I'd like to get your thoughts on what you thought of Ted Turner, because I actually signed a contract with WCW and Ole Anderson and Cowboy Bob Orton to train at that gym, and I was going to become a professional wrestler, and I loved those guys at WCW, Vader and all them guys. Just give me your thoughts on Ted Turner and the battles between WCW and WWE.
Ted was an innovator, man. He built his empire based upon professional wrestling, I believe. And he loved it. He lived it. He breathed it. It was part of him. And he was, like I said, an innovator. And the things that he was able to do at that time gave WWE, WWF a competitor, a viable competitor. And not only were we a competitor, we were kicking their ass. So, resenting that fact and keeping it in the back of their minds so that when they can pull the trigger, on something like my retirement, they always look back into something like that. And I think it definitely plays into their decisions to do what they do. And it just shows how small-minded they are and how cheesy they are, kind of like Lane Kiffin.
That's my man. We're going to continue more here with Bill Goldberg. Don't forget my great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in all of America for a reason. They are the #1 injury law firm in America. And this, folks, I'll tell you, with over $30 billion recovered. Pennsylvania, I told you about the family that got $650K initially. They got $26 million in settlement. Or the family in Florida that was offered $350K. They got nearly $12 million in settlement. John and Ultima Morgan started this company over 25 years ago, folks, and defending families like yours. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them that Big Sales sent you. By the way, we're going to continue more of our conversation with the legendary Bill Goldberg. 173-0. And I'm sorry, folks. I saw the ending to that thing, and I was like, wait a minute here. What do we got going on here, man? This is Goldberg. You're not doing that to my guy. We'll talk more with Bill next. Keep it right here on SportsGrid. I guess when you go into retirement, you become a philanthropist, and also too, you become an author. You become an activist now. Wait a minute, am I going to see Bill Goldberg on The View? Here he is with us now. Here.
Hell no. Unless I can spear everybody on that show.
Hey, Bill, man, you got a book coming out, huh? Tell us about the book coming out.
A buddy of mine and I are working on something right now that's definitely needed in today's society. A guy named Michael Harper, who is the founder of Patriot Tactical. He's an extremely accomplished dentist out in Scottsdale. And, he brought me on about a year ago, and we have the same kind of train of thought. And we've been working on this project, and for right now, it's got a title of from domesticated to dangerous, reclaiming masculinity in a culture that wants you weak. Can you relate to that, Sileo?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Exactly.
Yes. Absolutely, man. I dig this. All right, here, man. Bill, do you like today's professional wrestling and how, you know what? Back in the day, man, it just seemed more blood and guts, there was more like work and there were more workers. I don't know. It's more made for television today. Back then, man, it was just great workers, road warriors, yourself. I mean, do you like where it is today?
I will be perfectly honest with you. I'm the last one to pass judgment on it because I don't watch it, except for the fact that obviously I scroll through the news and I see a couple articles and I'll click on them every once in a while. And, a couple of guys they got there are wonderful, but beyond that, it's nothing like it was when I was there. It's nothing like it was when I was at WCW. You don't have superheroes walking around in the backstage by any stretch of the imagination. They're kind of fabricated. It's more based on drama now than it is the physical aspect of it. And one thing that just shows me how much it's changed. Back in the day, as Hogan told me, you can't overexpose yourself, right? And you can't show up every Monday Nitro. And when I did, it was a surprise and people were floored, right? And nowadays they announce who's going to be there, right? So the element of surprise, yeah, I mean, they may throw you a curveball, but the element of surprise of cool, big name stars showing up out of nowhere is kind of gone. And, for me, that's wrong. You got to pay these people back by showing up when you're not advertised and giving them something really to cheer for. And, in a simple microcosm, that to me is kind of the biggest difference in the business right now. They want to tell you everything and try to entertain you. And, look at it. TKO took it over. And I don't know how much wrestling fans they are, but quite obviously the bottom line is more important than I think the product at this point. So we see roster cuts, we see different angles going this way and that way, and it's just nothing like it used to be, man. It's nothing like it used to be. It's a shame.
I had a story, Bill, told to me by Vader, Leon White, another former NFL guy as well. And he told me that he was completely bombing, but he had to go through the ropes. He goes over to Japan. They put the helmet on him, and voila, overnight, he's a star. But he said that he had to go through the roles, and he had to go through the banging of being a professional wrestler. I talked to Hawk numerous times. The Road Warriors were bombing. All of a sudden, Ole puts the shoulder pads on him. And by the way, those were Georgia Bulldog shoulder pads that he ended up putting on him. And you know what? And all of a sudden, do you think you guys today, the guys today, go through the same type of roles in the same type of road that you guys went to get to where they need to? Because you guys plugged a lot of miles, and you guys were on a lot of road trips to get where you were.
Yeah, I mean, again, I can't really speak to that because I don't know behind the scenes. I don't know exactly what the hell's going on. I don't know if house shows are prominent anymore. I believe they're not. But, it's hard for me to pass judgment because I'd like to rag on them as much as humanly possible, but I'm not informed enough to answer that question.
Why don't you watch, Bill? But Bill, why don't you watch anymore? Why don't you watch a sport that you were so dominant in? Why don't you watch it?
Come on, man. It's like watching the View. Hey, I want to watch guys beating the dog shit out of each other. I want to watch fights. I want to watch football. I'm fully engulfed into the hockey playoffs right now. Gage, my boy's home from Colorado. He's out running somewhere on the ranch right now, and my focus is I'm pretty much laser focused towards he and his career at this moment, and so I have no time for wrestling, man. I mean, this is my time to get to the people. This is my time to say thank you to all the people around the world that, put me in the position that I'm in. So I've been doing a couple of signings and I'm doing things that are kind of out of the ordinary for me, but it's the only way that I can give back. And my voice needs to be heard, I believe. And that's why this book is going to be completed here soon. And that's why I'm jumping on board with a couple initiatives right now that I think my voice needs to be heard. And being behind the veterans is first and foremost on my list, behind Gage, and college football, where it is these days. We could talk for hours on that, but the veteran thing, it needs to change.
Michael Jordan made a comment in 30 seconds here, Bill. I mean, he said that, when he was away so long, now you get a chance to give back to your kids and your family now. And, you get a chance to be a dad again. That's probably part of the retirement now that you're really glad about. 30 seconds.
Absolutely. No question. I mean, your family is the most important thing in your entire life. And I wish that I had more time. And I wish that, earlier in my career that I was able to spend more time with them. But now I'm making up for that. And it's the best time well spent, man. And I'm truly honored to be able to take my family to events like we went to this last weekend and, just spend some quality time with them.
Dude, it's been awesome talking with you again, man. I can't wait to see what's ahead for Bill Goldberg. I can't wait to see you in this book. Thank you so much, brother. I love the hell out of you, man. You always find time for me. Thank you, Bill Goldberg. We have
Love you, Sileo. You be good.
Exactly. Thank you, Bill. right, folks, this Brendan Sorsby story is absolutely getting wild now. Here's a kid that first wanted to think about entering the supplemental draft of the National Football League. Then he wanted to get his eligibility back at Texas Tech and try to get back into the NCAA. Now we have a temporary injunction that has now been filed, and there's a hearing now that's set up here in a couple days here at June 1 in Texas for this quarterback to be able to get an opportunity to get his eligibility back. This lawsuit, again, against the NC2A, according to the case doc, will begin at 9 a.m. locally on the 1st, and Judge Ken Curry, who has no degree from Texas Tech, has been assigned the case. And get this, the reason he's been assigned the case is because the previous judge had to recuse himself because he was a Texas Tech guy. All right, so how that plays into this goes back to the Trinidad Chambliss case. Remember the judge that gave the temporary injunction for him to play had Ole Miss ties. So that the NCAA did was made sure that there was no affiliation with a judge that was going to hear this case. Trinidad Chambliss won that case, in my opinion, because you had an Ole Miss alum that was the judge that allowed that 6th year. I know, confusing. This is what you get, though, when you get the NC2A. This is what you get when you get players fighting for their eligibility. You get a lot of information that's not true by the NC2A. The problem with this whole case obviously comes back to eligibility now. Now, the NCAA, who's knee-deep into gambling, just same way that the National Football League is now saying that this kid's eligibility is up because, again, he's in a situation with all of this gambling stuff that happened in high school and also happened at Indiana University when he was the backup quarterback. Let's not forget, he just signed a $6 million NIL deal with the Texas Tech Red Raiders. So he's supposed to be the starting quarterback for this football team. He was also doing this when he was at the University of Cincinnati. So again, gambling is a no-no when it comes to the NFL. I can guarantee you, his agent went to him and said, you got to get your eligibility back. You've got to play in college football because the National Football League is not going to hold a supplemental draft for a guy who's got pending issues when it comes to gambling. That's not going to happen. He's not going to get that opportunity. Now, I think there will be a boatload of teams that will have interest in this kid. This kid would have been, and if he does get into college football, will be one of the top candidates for the Heisman Trophy. He is a fine ball player, and Texas Tech season could be hinging on this guy. But make no mistake, the National Communist Association of America, the NCAA, is in a pickle here because if this case does go to court, I believe that he's going to win this case. I think Brendan Sorsby will win this case. Now listen, wide range of gambling habits across 2002. This is why the NFL, by the way, is not going to be in bed with this on bringing him into the league. I mean, 22 to 2025, this guy has placed thousands of bets on everything and anything. These bets weren't for the purpose of making money. This is, again, he bet on things like games in the Turkish basketball league, the Romanian soccer games, obscure things like tennis matches and Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest. This guy's a regular. Hey, you talk about a guy with a habit. I mean, he's betting on Turkish games. Hey, man, now I'm going to say this guy's got a problem. I think that's an understatement. You want that in the National Football League when he's out there on the field with the potential of having the game on the line? And you're trying to tell me you don't think a guy like that would beat Paul Crewe from the longest yard and not throw a game? This guy here, Brendan Sorsby, Paul Crewe. Go back and watch the movie. This guy here, you can imagine he was the face of a franchise with that kind of gambling habit. Him playing in the National Football League, his chances are very small. That is not happening. So you're going to be with 2 minutes left in a football game, And Brandon Sorsby, a guy who bets on Turkish baths, is going to be a guy that's going to be your starting quarterback. And you'll be doing this. Hey, was that a complete pass or did he throw it? Hey, wait a minute. How come the point spread, he's really playing hard and they're down 31-6? Hey, you got to love this guy. Hey, I mean, I'm sure Roger Goodell would love to have a guy like this. Paul Crew Sorsby playing for your Cleveland Browns. There he is. 2 minutes left in the game. Does he complete the pass? Does he rig it? Or does he end up having a point shaving scandal going on? No, I'm sure he's just the perfect guy for the NFL. We'll talk to Rick Barry, some NBA hoop next, right here on Sports.
Hey there, it's your buddy Craig Carton. If you're trying to find out how to get all the great content that me and Tyrone Johnson give you every single day, here's Tyrone to tell you how.
You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and of course, Amazon Music as well. We're at all four.
That's right. It's the Craig Carton Show podcast every weekday morning live at 11, replayed at noon on YouTube and on SportsGrid throughout the country. Check it out.
They're trading right now currently at 74 wins on the season, which means the Kalshi marketplace goes by 5-win intervals. 75-plus wins for those Houston Astros. That's a 49% contract to the yes, which a $100 investment pays back $205, Greg. I'm not high on this team. Look, again, 75 wins for the Astros is terrible, but this team might not even look the same as where we stand today by the time we get to that deadline.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You can recruit super young talent that may go in the NBA. You can recruit older guys and have them grow up together. But if you want players to stay, either sign them to contracts or treat them well enough where they're going to stay. To me, it's pretty simple. And, you know, a lot of coaches last year had good years and they left skid marks on their schools and nobody said a word.
Outspoken with Dan Sileo, only on SportsGrid.
Go over the summer where there's drastic changes and gas drops down to $3 a gallon, $2.50 a gallon in some states, and then you have some of the price markets go down. You ride that momentum is what Joe's talking about. So if you say right now, which party will win the U.S. House, and you think it's the Republicans currently trading at 20%, you take them now, and if good press comes, that turns into 25% and 30%, then you have the option to cash out.
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
All right, so look, I got a pet peeve that really I think sports fans need to know. So I saw Taylor Swift at the Cavaliers-Knicks game, and I saw her sitting there, and she was, I guess, and I'm assuming, there with Travis Kelce rooting for the Knicks. Okay, so help me out here. Okay, so she's a Knicks fan, and she's an Eagle fan. Okay, no. You see, that's taboo number one on fandom. That's like we have rules in New York. If you are a Jets fan, you are a Mets fan and a Nets fan. If you are a Yankee fan, you're a Giants fan and a Ranger fan, okay? Get this together here. Hey, Taylor, I like the fact that I see you at games gunning beers with your boy. I think it's great and all, but you can't root for New York and root for Philadelphia in the same light. That's not being a fan. You can't cross lines like that. That's enemy territory when you do stuff like that. All right. Just a little note there for you. You can't do that. All right. Folks, without a doubt here, one of my favorite people on the planet to talk some NBA is our friend Rick Barry. He joins us now. Rick, appreciate you coming aboard. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask you flat out here, Rick. You think this Knicks team could go all the way and win the NBA championship?
Well, they definitely have a chance. They're playing really good basketball right now. They've been very impressive. Ever since they got down to Atlanta, they've been one of the best teams as far as the way that they're playing on both ends of the court. So I'm especially impressed with Brunson and how he elevates his game come playoff time, which I've always talked to you about, which I still don't understand why the NBA wants to turn it into a mugfest and let the physicality take place, which gives the advantage to the less skilled player. But Brunson has done a great job of elevating his game, as has the whole team. And then, as much as I was impressed with the first victory by San Antonio, I mean, they had a reality check in game 2 and in game number 3 after jumping out 15-0 and not being able to win that game. I just think that Oklahoma City is just doing what they should be doing as a defending champion. They play tough defense. They don't get rattled. They've got unbelievable depth, and that's probably the most concerning thing to me if I was a Spurs fan is the bench is crushing them. I mean, their bench is just doing such a great job, and that's important. I know the Warriors during their run, their bench was always an integral part of their success, and that's the case for the Oklahoma City Thunder as well. Their bench is playing out of their mind.
Hey, Rick, don't you agree? One of the things that you did was you led the Warriors to an NBA championship. If Jalen Brunson leads this Knicks team to an NBA championship, these are the things that set your resumes up. These are the things that make legacies. You make your legacy in the postseason. You make your name during the regular season. You would have to go down as one of the greatest Knicks next to Frazier if you're able to deliver, especially with that fan base in New York.
Yeah, he's an outstanding player. I mean, what that made me sick, I was doing some stuff for another show that I do with a friend of mine, Cyrus Satches, about the Warriors a lot, is that the Warriors could have had him. He was available when they drafted him the year he got drafted, and they didn't take him. And he bounced around before he finally, found this place. And I have great respect for players who don't get discouraged. They just battle their way. They never stop trying to improve their game. And he's one of those guys that's gotten better as he's gotten older. Very impressive. And, of course, Karl Anthony Towns, who I have great respect for. I got to have dinner with him when he was a young player in the league, and I was very impressed with him as an individual. He's elevated his game as well as so many of the other Knicks have. I mean, they're playing at an exceptionally high level. And that's what it takes to win. You don't win with only one player.
How about this, Rick? You just mentioned Karl Anthony Towns and accepting a role. Does that come down to Mike Brown? Does that come down to the coaching and figuring out the roles for players? Because, look, I always go back to that Jordan team. Everybody had a role on those great Jordan teams. Everyone knew what Pippen was. He was the Robin there. Everyone knew what Rodman's role was on the team. It looks like he's really accepted that role right now. That comes down to the head coach's influence, don't you think?
Well, the coach has to establish a relationship with his key players, okay? And he has to earn the respect of all of those players so that the players will listen to what he is asking them to do. The key thing is your 2 top or 3 top players. A lot of times they have 3 top players. You got to get them to buy into your philosophy. Mike Brown was known for his defense. That's why the Warriors brought him in to help with their defense. The Knicks' defense has been outstanding. And obviously, whatever he was selling, they've bought into it, and to his credit. And so that's one of the reasons they are where they are. But I think what happens when the players buy into what you're selling and they start to see results, now you've got something special because now they really truly believe. They may give you a shot initially, Dan, but if it's not working, you sure as hell better come up with a change of plans to make sure that they respect what you're talking about and that it's working and they're accomplishing what they wanted to accomplish by doing what the coach is asking you to do. And so in the next case, that's working exceptionally. I'm happy for Mike, really good guy. And yeah, they're playing outstanding basketball right now. Probably even more consistent than OKC, who's been a little bit up and down. So it'll be interesting to see. I would be very shocked if that's not the finals coming up. I think both of those teams will wind up winning. I really thought after game 1 and 2 that the Spurs would have a shot when they got back home. But man, what a performance on the part of OKC to come back from that horrendous start. Boy, that took a lot and showed me a lot of character that team has.
How about this? Help me out here, Rick. When you're up 3-love, how hard is it to close a team out? How hard is it to get that final game to close a team out? Or do you think that the Cavaliers are right now just pretty much with the white flag?
Well, I guess it's pretty difficult since nobody's ever done it in the history of the playoffs. Right. So it's pretty difficult. Yeah, it's hard to beat anybody 3 times in a row, let alone 4 times in a row, especially when you come playoff time, when you're focused totally and completely offensively and defensive philosophies and strategies are all on that one team, and you're able to make adjustments. So, yeah, no, Cleveland's toast, I think. And I think unless somehow, some way, the Spurs find a way to win this one. And I think Oklahoma City is going to realize that they will put the Spurs in such a difficult position if they come up with this victory, because now all they have to do is win their home games, but you really don't want to give any life to them at all. I did not like the way that the Spurs played Wemby. I think Wemby was not in the game at all. He was outside shooting perimeter shots. They didn't do much to get him inside. I think the Spurs have to make a major adjustment in order to find a way to win game 2. Now, if they win game 2, everything goes out the window. I mean, because basically it's a 3-game series. And so it's just a matter now of the Spurs finding a way to win one game back at Oklahoma City. So it'll be fun to see what happens. But this obviously is the critical game for the Spurs. They have to win this one to have any chance at all. If they lose this one, that series is over as well.
Absolutely here. So, Rick, the Madison Square Garden crowd looks like we haven't seen this in a long time, in your opinion, or in my opinion here. I haven't seen this in a long time. I mean, it's just something. Can you imagine if New York were able to win the NBA championship and what it would mean to the NBA, and that franchise ever got resurrected again and won a championship? It'd be good for the NBA. Would you agree?
Well, they've already resurrected themselves. I mean, they've already made major improvements. I mean, last year was a nice year. This year is a better year. And to get the ultimate prize, winning the championship, would be awesome for them. And, of course, it's the media capital. That's where the NBA is located. It's not going to hurt the team in any way, shape, or form. And it would be good for the game. But what's good for the game is that the way they're playing. They're playing really good basketball. That's what I like. It's not just all one-on-one, although Brunson has a tendency to get a little bit one-on-one. But that's the game today. The players are so skilled and so effective going one-on-one. But it's really a double-edged sword that you play with. If your player's on and he's going well, yeah, it's going to work for you. But if he's doing so much of that and he's having an off night, you could be in trouble. So you have to really play it really close to the vest, so to speak.
Hey, Rick, we're going to talk Western Conference next here, okay? It's for a couple minutes. Keep it right here on SportsGrid.
I know you didn't. Talk.
I'm innocent. Got the wrong guy. It wasn't me. I didn't do anything. Okay, it was me. I did it.
Bringing an owl to an interrogation? That's a power move.
Every time. Yeah.
Hiring America's largest injury law firm for your injury? That's also a power move. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law.
Truly one of the greatest players in the history of the NBA. We're so privileged to be able to have him join us here always on Sports Grid, and we appreciate that. Rick, let's go to the Western Conference here. Is OKC just a better team or more experienced team as they're in this finals? Both.
Both. They're a better team and they're more experienced. They have got tremendous depth. They're really a good basketball team, and that's why they were champions last year. And they have a great chance of repeating, which is a very difficult thing to do in any sport. So I'm sure they have great incentive. And what impressed me is the way they just methodically came back from that incredible start to game number 3. I mean, to survive that and to do it so quickly, they did it in the first half. I mean, even in the first quarter, they got themselves back in it. It's like all of a sudden, the Spurs had all this energy and stuff, and it's like somebody stuck a needle in it and let all the air out. It was crazy to watch that. But I was impressed. I was very impressed with Oklahoma City, and especially the way their bench people play and the way they're playing the game. And it's the same situation. Do you know that 80% of the time, the team that outscores the other team from three-point range wins the game? And so that's what you got to watch for. The game has changed so dramatically that if you can prevent open three-point looks, and they didn't do a very good job of that against OKC. I mean, come on, look at all of the wide open threes they got. You have to minimize the wide open looks from the opposition, and that just comes down to good, smart defense. You don't leave people to go help, especially if you got a team like with Wemby back there. Hey, play the guy tough, make him drive by. If he wants to go shoot and score over Wemby, hey, God bless you. Good luck to that. But don't let guys get wide open. It just doesn't make any sense.
Rick, you are the best person on the planet to ask this question to when it comes to Wembanyama. People are making all kinds of comparisons to him. He's 7 feet. He's got a 3-point jump shot. He's a rebounder, 41, 24, and 7. Hell, you probably saw that every time you tipped it off versus Wilt when Wilt was on the floor. I mean, is there anything? He's 22 years of age. Do you see some of the Chamberlain stuff in this kid?
No, he'll never be able to be like Wilt because Wilt was so powerful physically. Wilt was just empowering. I mean, incredibly strong, incredibly athletic as well. Not as mobile as Wemby is, but Wemby is his own unique self. He's what I call enigmas, a guy who plays the position and is different than anybody else who's ever played it. And certainly that's him. And he's going to continue to get better. He'll get more experience. He's got to learn to be able to get a little bit more strength to be able to overpower some people. And he's got to do more inside. I mean, come on. When Caruso was guarding him, for him not to be in the post all day long, just dominating, was crazy. I just don't understand why they're not doing that and why they've got him out in the perimeter. For God's sake, the last game, he was rarely in the middle. Then he gets it, he tries to dribble and all that stuff, and he picks up charges and fouls, and he's a little out of control. I thought he had a really poor game, and I thought it was a poor game plan for the last game for the Spurs.
Do they have enough of a supporting cast around him to help elevate him even more? And can he elevate that supporting cast? Is that maybe the difference a little bit? Because you mentioned it in the first block when it came to the bench. OKC's bench was just insane in game 2. Is that maybe the difference also is the depth level you're seeing with Oklahoma City?
Well, for sure. I actually was that way in game 1 and 2 as well. I mean, Oklahoma City's bench has been dominant, and they're going to either have to get better performances out of the starters. I'm talking about the Spurs, and have some of the other guys off the bench step up. I'm surprised that they haven't maybe tried some of the experienced guys that they have on the bench to give them an opportunity, because experience means a lot. And they got a lot of young guys. I mean, the Castles had like 11 turnovers in one game, but they still won. But they're also hurting themselves with the number of turnovers. You have to take care of the basketball. It's a very precious commodity come playoff time, because the defense is being played. You don't have as many opportunities, and you can't negate your opportunities by turning the ball over and not getting a chance to do it. So it was interesting to watch and see how they played. Again, I just don't like the way a lot of these teams play defense, where they get too many wide open three-point shots. As a coach, I would minimize the number of three-point shots, even to the point that if a guy gets by his guy and he goes to the basket, don't leave him to try to stop the two-point shot by leaving a three-point shooter, and they kick it out, and the guy gets a wide-open three. I mean, that happened a lot for Oklahoma City in these games. So they got to stop that, and they got to get Wemby more involved and get him more involved down low.
Let's go SGA here. What's your takeaway as an evaluation of him when you watch him play in his game? What do you see that you enjoy the most of when he's playing out there for Oklahoma City?
Just great confidence in his game, knowing full well that he can get a shot almost any time, although he does get away with murder because he shoves off with his offhand so many times. And actually, one game in one of the earlier playoff games, they actually called the foul on him. I said, oh, my God, thank God. But you watch him very closely. And even a lot of other players, they use that offhand to shove the defender. I mean, if I put a little bit of contact on you and give a little push, not a big push, just a little bit to throw your momentum, there's no way you can guard me. That's why a lot of times he gets so wide open. Watch his offhand in this next game and see what he does. He gets away with a lot. He really does. But he's a great player, incredible mid-range shooter with accuracy, can get to the basket and cause problems for, the other team. And he's also unselfish because when he does that and they come to help out, he's making some great outlet passes. Again, to guys who are wide open for open three-point shots. Stop with that. Stay home on the good three-point shooters.
Hey, Rick, you mentioned something earlier. How different of a player were you when you had your first playoff experience to when you ended up winning your NBA championship? And then after that, every time you got into the postseason, how much does that really give you the confidence of playing in those games?
Everything, but you have to experience it. I know that I learned after my first experience that I expended a whole lot of energy getting emotionally worked up to get to play. And you have to be careful about that because emotion can drain your physical energy. And so you have to learn to control that so you don't overdo it. But again, the experience is, in fact, I just heard a great preacher today in church talking about stuff about failures and success. And basically, the thing about it is that in life, you really want to fail. You want to fail so that you can learn from the failure and not repeat it again and again. And that's what happens in basketball. You make mistakes, you learn from them. The intelligent people get better by learning from their mistakes.
Absolutely, Rick. I can't wait to see what happens here in the Western Conference. I don't know what San Antonio is going to do here in this Western Conference Finals, but it looks like the New York Knicks are going to punch their ticket to the NBA Finals here, and that'll be one hell of a lineup there, man. OKC versus New York. Rick, I appreciate you very much. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. We thank you very much, my friend.
Happy Memorial Day to everybody, especially our veterans and the families of those people who gave up, somebody gave up their life for the good of this country. So God bless them all. Always good to talk to you.
You got it. Thank you so much. We will have final thoughts next, right here on SportsGrid.
Hey there, it's your buddy Craig Carton. If you're trying to find out how to get all the great content that me and Tyrone Johnson give you every single day, here's Tyrone to tell you how.
You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and of course, Amazon Music as well. We're at all four.
That's right. It's the Craig Carton Show podcast every weekday morning live at 11, replayed at noon on YouTube and on SportsGrid throughout the country. Check it out.
They're trading right now currently at 74 wins on the season, which means the Kalshi marketplace goes by 5-win intervals. 75-plus wins for those Houston Astros. That's a 49% contract to the yes, which a $100 investment pays back $205, Greg. I'm not high on this team. Look, again, 75 wins for the Astros is terrible, but this team might not even look the same as where we stand today by the time we get to that deadline.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You can recruit super young talent that may go in the NBA. You can recruit older guys and have them grow up together. But if you want players to stay, either sign them to contracts or treat them well enough where they're going to stay. To me, it's pretty simple. And, a lot of coaches last year had good years and they left skid marks on their schools and nobody said a word.
Outspoken with Dan Sileo, only on SportsGrid.
Go over the summer where there's drastic changes and gas drops down to $3 a gallon, $2.50 a gallon in some states, and then you have some of the price markets go down. You ride that momentum is what Joe's talking about. So if you say right now, which party will win the U.S. House, and you think it's the Republicans currently trading at 20%, you take them now, and if good press comes, that turns into 25% and 30%, then you have the option to cash out.
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
Okay, well, maybe one day the NFL can get their crap together here and start doing some things that are right. So, can you imagine you perform all year long and you're named the NFL's offensive player of the year? It's truly one of the greatest honors, and it's even in your contract. If you're named the NFL Offensive Player of the Year, there's a monetary figure that's put to that. Every player wants to be the Defensive Player of the Year, the Offensive Player of the Year, the Rookie of the Year, all that. And you're JSN, and you open up the box, and it's got this as your award. The offensive.
Nah, I really want to expose them though.
What?
It's getting disrespectful, guys. Defense. Come on, bro. One word. Man.
Okay. Hey, dude, I'm trying to figure it out too. Brian McCarthy, the head dude of communications, came out and said, no, wait. It was a mess up here, but it wasn't really that. I wrote it down here. It was like the OEFENSIVE. I'm not even sure what that word is. Can you imagine? You're getting that award. It's one of the most prestigious awards that you could possibly get. And you were named at the NFL honors for this too. So look at this. This is insane. Seahawks wide receiver JSN received his Offensive Player of the Year trophy, but there's one giant problem. The plaque actually says Defensive Player of the Year. JSN's response, it's getting disrespectful at this point. Well, hey, I'll tell you what they can do, and the National Football League does, and they know what to make sure that they can always do this. They can make sure that cable bill of yours is always up. They can always get that cable bill right. I mean, dude, people were commenting on this, that the National Football League just absolutely, this was, what is this now? We're also missing a space between the year, so now incorrectly reads the year. Okay? This was a subsequent picture JSN posted of himself in response to the bizarre plaque that he received as the Offensive Player of the Year. The NFL can make sure your cable bill goes up. Make sure we have to get on all those crazy apps, but they can't even get a trophy right for a guy. Shows you what they think of the players again. Hey, JSN, congratulations on the Player of the Year award or whatever. You were a hell of a player with the Seattle Seahawks. Congratulations on winning the Super Bowl and being the Oinky Player of the Year or whatever that said. Defensive Player of the Year, the Oinky Player of the Year. I mean, come on, dude. Get your crap together here. Look at this here. How insane is that? I thought it said the Offensive Player of the Year, but this says the D something. Boy, poor guy here, man, without a doubt. NFL, get your crap together, man. These are big-time awards for these players who put their back into this to try to get those awards. Let's see if we can get that right. All right. I want to do this here, folks. I want to make sure that we tell everybody out there during this Memorial Day time that we go out and we thank the men and women who serve our great country. I had the privilege many times and many years of working in Tampa doing morning radio, and I got a chance to do that where Central Command is. And Admiral Cooper, who is there, we had a great conversation this past week on my radio show in Tampa, and we were talking about the men and women that serve our great country. And I take that with great pride that we were able to talk into the area there where Central Command is. Also, when I was in San Diego, where the hub of the Navy SEALs and all the Naval Academy is, and all the Navy folks there when it comes to having our ships out there in the Western Theater. Guys, Memorial Day is a great day to remember. It's not just a great day for people to sit around and have a great time with their families and party. This is a time of Omaha Beach. This is a time to remember places like Normandy, Guadalcanal. This is places that you go back in history that men and women have fought this entire for our country. Make no mistake, this weekend means a lot. You know, if you've never made that trip to Normandy, you have to. because it's the greatest beach on the planet, where men fell in the line of tyranny, making sure they liberated Europe. People we have now over in Iran and also over in Ukraine. Make sure you tell people again that this is a great thing that you're doing for our country, and we support you 100%. No matter what your political party is, those who serve our country need to have really a showing by us to show that how much we care for them and how much they mean to our country. Thank you so much. Make sure you guys have yourself an absolutely fabulous holiday, and we will catch you on the flip side.